She loved how he was emotionless until her mom was in the hospital due to heart surgery, and she wanted him to comfort her, but he physically couldn't cause he was so empty inside. My arms dealer father brought home a pair of twin bodyguards from an underground fighting ring. My sister, Vivian, chose the brother who fawned over her. That left me with the other one, the silent one with expressive mutism. I knew that rejected bodyguards were thrown back into the fighting pits to fend for themselves, so my soft heart got the better of me, and I took him in. He couldn't speak, so I found doctors and therapists for him. He was an outcast, bullied by the others for his quiet nature, though I trained twice as hard, beating down anyone who dared to lay a hand on him. I spent my nights learning sign language and psychology, desperate for a way to connect with him. I thought my devotion would earn his undying loyalty, until the night of the botched arms deal, when he watched as both Vivian and I were trapped by the flames. He didn't hesitate. He ran to her. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice clear. "I can't let anything happen to Vivi." His mutism had been cured long ago. As the explosion consumed me, he looked at me, and his lips formed the words, "I owe you this life. I'll repay you in the next." I opened my eyes and was back on the day we chose our bodyguards. A stinging pain in my palm snapped me back to reality. The crescent-shaped wounds my nails had dug into my skin were a grim reminder that this was not a dream. My sister glanced at me, then wrapped her arm around our father's, her voice a sweet poison. "Daddy, it looks like sister is still thinking. Why don't you let me choose first?" Under our father's doting gaze, she preened like a peacock, her eyes flitting between the two brothers, Zane and Kale. "I think I'll choose Kale," she announced, though her eyes had been fixed on Zane the whole time. "Sister is such a loner. She needs a bodyguard who knows how to read people." I watched her performance, my mind replaying the scene from my past life. Shed said the exact same thing then, pretending to be considerate by offering me the more outgoing brother, Zane. She knew I would fall for it. She knew my heart was too soft. Back then, her act had worked. I'd not only let her have Zane, but had taken the silent, brooding Kale under my wing. It wasn't until the fire, when she cried for the brothers to save me first but held her hand out to Kale, that I finally understood. Zane, her sworn protector, was right beside her. The exit was closer to her, but she had always been certain I would yield, that my compassion was a weakness to be exploited. She got what she wanted and a reputation for being selfless, but this time, I met her confident gaze. "I'll do as you say, sister." The smile on Vivian's face froze. She wasn't the only one in shock. Kale's head snapped up, his eyes wide with disbelief. "No," our father interjected. "Vivian, you're fragile. You need the stronger protection. Kale has a speech impediment. He's not suitable." I understood. Father had already decided. This whole charade of letting us choose was just for show. "Daddy, let's let sister choose first." Vivian began, putting on her sweet, obedient daughter mask again, but Kale cut her off. "Sir, my speech impediment has been cured. In my past life, Kale hadn't spoken a word until the moment I died, but now..." His eyes were no longer vacant, they were filled with a sharp, hidden pain as they met my scrutinizing gaze. So, he was reborn too. Watching his desperate attempt to be chosen, I thought of his last words to me, "I'll repay you in the next," and a bitter, ironic laugh threatened to escape my lips. It didn't matter. I didn't want him anyway. Father didn't respond. In a blur of motion, Kale moved. One of the elite guards standing by my father's side was on the ground, neutralized, in the span of a single breath. A flicker of surprise crossed my father's face. Vivian beamed. She had always preferred Kale's cold, aloof beauty. If not for his diagnosis, he would have been her first choice. Finally, my father nodded. "Very well, Kale, you will be with Vivian. As for Zane, he'll be with Arya." The silent Zane's brow furrowed. He dropped to one knee, his voice tight and strained. "Sir, I cannot obey this command." "You refuse?" My father's face darkened. He might favor Vivian, but I was still his daughter. A bodyguard's public refusal was a direct challenge to his authority. "Then you can crawl back to the fighting pits. The Smith family has no use for disobedient dogs." I knew this would happen. A bodyguard who wasn't chosen was discarded. In my past life, I couldn't bear to see Kale sent back to die, so I kept him. This time, it was Zane's turn. I stood by, a silent spectator. Vivian, however, was panicking. She rushed to Zane's side, reaching for his arm, but he subtly moved away. She stomped her foot, her voice a petulant whine. "Zane, if you don't go with my sister, they'll beat you to death." Zane looked up, his eyes burning with a fierce, unwavering loyalty. "My life's only purpose is to serve you, Miss Vivian." A blush crept up Vivian's cheeks. I let out a soft laugh. This display of blind devotion was just as pathetic the second time around. "Sister." Vivian whirled on me, her eyes instantly welling with tears. "Are you just going to stand there and watch him die?" From the brother's perspective, she must have looked like a tragic, beautiful angel. I took a step forward. "Father, since Zane is so loyal to my sister, why not let them both serve her? One is good, but two is better. Vivian's safety is what matters most." My words were exactly what she wanted to hear. From the moment the twins had arrived, she had been torn, unable to choose. Father hesitated. "Arya, what about you?" I lowered my head, playing the part of the dutiful, self-sacrificing older sister. "It's fine, Father." In the older sister, I should give way to Vivian. Suddenly, every gaze in the room was filled with approval. A smile touched my father's lips. "Arya, you've matured." However, he continued, "Things are unstable right now. Our enemies are watching. It's not safe for you to be without protection." I looked up, meeting his approving gaze and catching the complex emotion in Kale's eyes. I didn't care enough to decipher it. "If you're worried, Father, you can send me to work with my cousin. I won't cause any trouble for the family." In my past life, I had no foundation in this family. so I had poured all my energy into saving Kale. Vivian was born when I was 5. To ensure she was the sole recipient of their affection, my parents had sent me to live with distant relatives. It was only 2 years ago, when the family needed to manage some bad press, that my father brought me back. My cousin, who ran the family's overseas arms trade, always brought Vivian limited edition bags and jewelry when he came home. Even her nanny was treated better than I was. The money for Kale's medical treatments had come from my own meager allowance, saved penny by penny. Sorry, due to copyright issues I am unable to continue updating the next chapter. If you like the book, if you like this book, circ 289704, on, Moda Novel, to read this book.